Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Graykowski, creator of the Better Brain Blueprint. So welcome to this 4-part video series to show you how to take better control of your brain and nervous system and how to transform your life. What I want you to realize is we want you to be able to remember this and put this information into play so that you're not having to think about it. It actually becomes instinctive. It's important to realize that our brain is a memory organ, meaning that it's storing information on a moment-to-moment basis. It's taking in all the information, what we're seeing, what we're hearing, what we're smelling, what we're tasting, and what we're feeling. These are our lower senses, and a lot of times we are not aware of that. What I want to teach you is the 4 parts to your brain and how you can actually go up and use our higher senses. So our 4 parts of our brain is we have our instinctive brain, which is our lower brain. That is our oldest part of our brain. They call it our reptilian brain. It's where we are on autopilot. So it affects our heart rate, it affects our breathing, it affects our response to fight or flight in a stressful situation. It's our protective mechanism. Our brain process above that is our middle brain. It's our limbic system. That's our emotional brain, what they call the mammalian brain. So our most important processes is we will make more decisions on our limbic system, our emotional brain, than any other process. A lot of people use their higher brain, their intellectual brain. They understand through an educated process what they should be doing and what they can be doing, but maybe you don't make the change. So what I want to do in this 4-part video series is show you how to take more control to be up in the higher level of your brain, which is your intuitive brain. And understanding how our nervous system works, how it communicates, and how our belief systems can transform your health. So let's get started. Today we're talking about what we call our innate senses. Innate means inborn. So we just talked about our 5 senses. Most people understand that our senses are seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and feeling. But if you do a functional MRI where we actually look at different parts of the brain and where the blood supply is changed while asking questions that can elicit emotion or an intellectual or an intuitive response, different parts of our brain actually light up on a functional MRI. So we now know with technology how to access different parts of our brain, and a lot of that comes through questions that we ask ourselves and how we can access our higher emotions. So if we look at it, we have a higher visual center, we have a higher auditory center, and we have a higher kinesthetic or feeling center. So our innate senses, our 6th would be our higher audient, our higher voice, our higher kinesthetic or our 7th, and our higher visual is our 8th sense. So most people think that we have a 6th sense. Well, we have a more dominant sense. Some people are more higher vision based, some people are more higher audient based, and some people are more intuitive or higher kinesthetic based. So the best way for you to really remember that is how many of you had maybe a higher vision of the way you want your life to be. So if you look at it from a neurological point of view, our brain, if we were to close our eyes will automatically shift up about 10 to 15 degrees. Try that for me now. Just close your eyes and see how it feels like your vision slightly pops up. So our vision, it actually starts to focus in on our prefrontal cortex. So if you do a MRI of a person, ask them questions about their higher vision, you'll see this part of their brain light up. Now, some people have more of an internal voice, that little voice that talks to you. And when that happens, if we're in a stressful response, it's on both sides, deep internal, on a part of our brain called the amygdala. So that's the part that stores a lot of emotional responses, things that we have to it's kind of like the gatekeeper to see what we should do in a certain aspect. But our higher senses comes out a little bit further, that same area, our temporal area of our brain cortex. And if we do an MRI on that and we ask them a question where they have to think internally and actually ask that question, that little voice will answer, and this part of our brain will actually light up. If we look at a person that has a higher feeling sense, meaning that they trust their gut, we've all heard that response, you got to trust your gut feeling. Well, that's when we actually start to bring a lot of that energy down to area of our celiac plexus or our solar plexus down at our diaphragm. So if we have a gut feeling about something, we will actually feel it in that area of our nervous system. It's called our second brain, actually at this part of our nervous system. So that can affect our moods, it can affect how we eat, it can affect our emotions at a higher level just by our feeling. So the more that we can incorporate these 8 senses, we can actually kick out of that lower brain, kick above just our emotional center and up into our higher intellectual and intuitive brain. So the intellectual process is just knowing that we have these higher centers of our brain and how to access that. So for today, what I want you to understand is that we have these higher senses. So it's important to check in. We do so many things unconsciously. So I want you to look at all 8 senses and really look at this over the next 24 hours. I want you to look around, and rather than having scotomas, blind spots where we can't see things, I want you to use your visual aspect of really looking around at your environment, looking around at where you're at and being present. I want you to really listen, not just be on your agenda, but listen to what other people are saying. Listen to the voices that are coming out from other people that you interact with, and just listen to your environment. I want you to really smell and taste your food. When you take time to smell your food, that stimulates a part of our brain to start the digestive processes. You will eat less. If you taste your food and actually chew your food and take time, you will eat less. So learning these things can actually help you lose weight. I want you to feel things. I want you to feel your skin. I want you to feel how your body feels. I want you to check in with just how you are feeling. Do you have chronic pain areas? And we will teach you in future videos how to understand how to move that pain to different out of your body, because a lot of times it's just on a feedback loop so that you can reduce chronic pain. So this is where we kick into our higher senses. I want you to integrate all 3 of your highest senses. Your higher visual, the prefrontal cortex, the higher audient, the temporal area, and the higher kinesthetic. So in a moment of silence and quiet, and I recommend about 20 minutes, I want you to do a visualization process, an auditory process, and a kinesthetic process. So like I said, when you close your eyes will automatically tilt up about 10 or 15 degrees to this prefrontal cortex area. That starts to access internal vision. So what I want you to imagine is a light beam passing from the visual center of our occipital cortex through the prefrontal cortex, the back of the brain and the front of the brain. And imagine a light beam traveling about a 10 to 15 degree angle, coming out of the brain forward and out of the brain backwards. The light beam behind you is your past. The light beam ahead of you is your future. The light inside at that area of the brain where it intersects, the pineal gland is a level of the brain that we really don't understand what its aspects are, but it deals with timing, it deals with, I want you to stay focused and present on that middle part of your brain. Imagine this light beam going forward and backwards. And I want you to do this for several minutes and just look at what would your highest vision for your life be. Then I want you to take a few minutes and imagine 2 speakers out both sides of the head, and your right brain and your left brain are communicating to each other. Your right brain is your creative side, has to do with your imagination, your creativity, your emotions, and your experiences. Your left brain has to do with your logical, your analytical, the processing of words and sounds. And I want you to listen to what the left and right brain are saying to each other. If we do this, we start to tap into trusting our inner voice and listening to that inner voice. And I want you to see this higher vision, and I want you to listen to what your body is telling you. If you access your brain through higher questions, you'll get better answers, and you'll actually start to transform your life. Then I want you to bring this energy from seeing and hearing down to your gut and understand that your true internal feeling is what will guide you. This is where you make most of your decisions. So our kinesthetic, our gut feeling, is typically the area that is the area that you're going to make the most important decisions. So I want you to see your higher vision, Listen to that inner voice and trust your gut instinct, and listen to one thing that you want to do to change your health, you personally, what you need to do, and what you want to do, and what you should do, and what you must do right now to change your health for the future. Understanding how to use our higher brain is critical to transforming your life, the health of your family, and this is how we transform our future generations. So take the time today, look at your see things, listen better, smell and taste your food, feel your body, look at your highest vision, listen to that inner voice, and then trust your gut feeling that will guide you in the appropriate direction for a transformational life. This is another Better Brain tip. Have an awesome day, and listen to your innate senses. It'll make a huge difference for you and your entire family.